in this lecture series. And she's someone who many of you may know, some of you may not. She's a graduate student here in the Master of Sociology program at Lakehead University. And I'm pleased to call her a friend of mine as well as a worthy adversary. For those of you who don't know, Diane is pretty tenacious in her debating abilities, and you're looking at someone up here who, as a political activist, has stared down many members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Canadian military, and various police forces, and I can tell you that they pale in comparison to debate with Diane over here. She's a pretty vicious opponent, whether it's in a classroom or over a pint at the Black Pirates pub. Tonight she's going to be speaking on porn and technology, so I'm not going to go on any further. We've waited long enough. Please welcome Diane Prairie.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming out. It's good to see so many people out here that are interested either in my field or at least my topic. I know it's really, really unusual to see these words together on the screen. You're sitting there thinking like, okay, honestly, I have no idea what you guys are thinking, so I might shock and amaze you. I might give you guys exactly what you were looking for. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, so let's get underway here. I think that it's important before we get started to actually give you guys a working definition of what pornography is. So we're going to get right into the beginning of our lecture here, which is defining pornography. I've actually worked a little bit on this sort of thing before in my, at the very, very end of my undergraduate year. I did a big project on the sociological and economic relevance of porn, and actually coming up with a working definition of pornography was really, really difficult, because when I asked people about what they thought of when they thought of porn, I got a lot of words like this. We got dirty pictures, obviously. Dirty pictures are fun, whatever. Smut, all right. You ask people to define smut, and they're like, well, you know, porn, sex stuff, whatever. We ended up with filth. This is where it starts to get a little bit more aggressive and everything, but still, as you can see, these words are kind of biased. They don't really tell you much about what it actually is. It just tells you what people are feeling about it. But for the purpose of today, we're going to be operating on the Merriam-Webster Dictionary definition of pornography, which is a depiction of erotic behavior intended to cause sexual excitement. Now, if we look at this, it's actually kind of a loose definition, but it's actually a very, very accurate one. When you consider this definition of pornography, it isn't just limited to movies and pictures, but also erotic literature, and if you want to get really, really technical, and technical is right up my alley, pretty much any amount of TV advertising that involves beer. Okay, so next I thought it was really important to get into a discussion about what porn has done for us. Okay. Well, first there's the obvious answer. Gives you something to work with, right? Thank you, whoever giggled. That was Dave, wasn't it? Of course it was. Okay, economic contributions. This is what the bulk of my paper was on last year. The porn industry actually makes a substantial economic contribution. Depending on what you can include in the breakdown of the industry, research has shown that it can make anywhere from $2.6 to $10 billion per year in the United States. That was based on research findings pre-2004. After 2005 and in the recent years where it comes to economic recessions and stuff like that, the numbers have actually increased anywhere between 13 and 14 billion on the higher side. Hustler founder and CEO Larry Flint had actually asked last year, approached Congress in the United States of America and asked for a bailout, basing the numbers on $13 billion a year, claiming that with the economic recession in place, they had actually lost about $5 billion a year. So, yeah, anywhere between 2.6 and 13 billion. On to our next big contribution here. It's given us fun debates over the arts. Like, seriously, you walk into any number of museums and you look at all of these statuesque naked people and you're thinking, how is this not pornographic? Well, The answer is that, well, it's a depiction meant to cause sexual excitement, or excitement. Art is meant to arouse some sort of reaction and feeling in you, right? So therefore, it's pornographic. But what is the difference between art and erotica and pornography? Well, this debate has been waging for years and years and years, but the obvious answer is it's strictly acceptability. Okay, porn has provided grounds for tons and tons of social activism for us. It provides opportunities for social action not only against porn, but also for porn, like in defense of it. It's not only seen as evil to be protested and fought against by people of various religious, political, and social groups, but has also been used as a foundation for social activism in the US, in which it was defended as an example of First Amendment right. These cases are, famously fought over and over again. Mostly by Larry Flynt. There have been a couple of other First Amendment cases that have been fought. Some of them won, some of them lost. But obscenity laws and pornography are still a really, really big arena to be fighting social activism in, especially your right to free speech and press. It's also allowed the English language to adopt new words. I know that you guys can think of a couple. No, they're not actually in the dictionary. I'm just joking around with you guys here. But with all the fighting between, our good friend Larry Flynt and several politicians and other public figures, I thought it was, kind of fun to bring up the fact that Mr. Flynt's name is now commonly being used as a verb in sort of the law realm, the legal realm in the United States of America. To be flinted is actually to be exposed mostly by Larry Flynt for hypocritical shenanigans. For instance, if you were to launch obscenity charges against Hustler, seriously, don't let Mr. Flynt catch you cutting major drug deals in a hotel room or anything like that, because honestly, drugs are more obscene than porn, and I think you guys would all agree with me on that one. But the main thing that we're going to talk about with what porn has done for us tonight is actually technological advancement in media. This is going to be the heart of our talk and everything like that, so we can leave all of these other ones behind. I just thought it was fun to bring up. So let us start on our talk with the tech that porn built. Whether or not you can actually appreciate porn for what it is and its content, porn should be given due credit for the influence and contribution it has had on technological advancement, especially in the realm of media. We start with paperback books, and I know everybody's thinking, okay, paperback books, they're not exactly technologically advanced, but you have to think that it is a form of media distribution, and without the technology of printing presses and so on and so forth, we wouldn't have a lot of our favorite authors available to us. So, we'll sit there and think about this for a second. When you consider the definition that we discussed previously, we pointed out that literary depictions could be included in pornography. This is why we see paperback books as the first one on our list. Just to give you a little bit of history on porn's contribution to the distribution of paperback books. Before the war, there was a demand for cheap and private entertainment, so the dime novel was invented. These are cheaply produced paperback books on a variety of topics. Most of them were actually pornographic materials, but there were also, westerns and sci-fis and stuff like that too. It's a really, really great way to get fledgling authors off the ground if they weren't, in the realm of academia, purely for entertainment. When the economy started to have issues due to war efforts, most books were produced in paperback because of its low cost to produce and lightweight, making shipping a lot cheaper and easier. And most of the paperbacks sent over the seas to men on the war front were still pornographic, even though most literature was actually being published in paperback as of the war. Okay, VHS. Everybody grew up with a VCR in their home, stuff like that, watched their favorite Disney movies when they were kids, and so on and so forth, correct? Was there anybody in here that didn't have a VCR? Is that Ed? How's it going, dude? I don't believe you.
I didn't have one until I was like grade 13.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're an old man, aren't you?